Superman 2025 by James Gunn is the blockbuster of the year in my opinion, and let's get into why I just was sobbing this whole movie. So Superman 2025 has been a long time coming. James Gunn of course started off with Marvel with the Guardians of the Galaxy films. He's gone on to work with DC now and really start to craft this gods and monsters universe for them. A sort of soft rebranding from DC because there's certain elements I think that they are still taking from the DCU, but we'll talk about that in a spoiler video for the Superman film. Now, this is a movie that stars David Corenswet as Superman Clark Kent. You also in this movie have Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and I will tell you that this movie is really one of my most anticipated films of the year. Before we get into the review and my thoughts on it, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell. We're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. That's our big goal for the summer. We got about a month and a half from that. Let's see if we can get as close as possible to it. So this movie follows Superman as he is sort of, I think, in his amateur years, you could say. He's only been Superman to the world for like 3 years now, and he has sort of started to try and be more like open and sort of try to understand how politics and all that work. And this is a very political movie, I will tell you. And I think that a lot of what I really loved about this movie is that it really presents Superman as how he would be seen in our world and all of that, but also at the same time keeps a lot of the fantastical elements you love about Superman. This movie is really cut like a comic book. Like, it feels like you're turning from panel to panel, and that can seem a bit jarring to some people, and I would understand if you don't like that certain aspect, because there's certain scenes that happen and then it cuts to black and we're in a completely different scene. And I don't know if that was a style choice or not. To me, it felt like a style choice that Gunn wanted it to feel like a panel type vibe where you're seeing one story, then you go to the next one and it's a completely different story. And I've seen some of the people out there already say that that was kind of like a little weird and all that. Totally understand that. For me, it works a lot better because I think you see this sort of story be presented in like fragments of sorts, and for me worked amazingly. Now when it comes to this movie and the message it's sending, it's very clear its messaging and where it aligns and all of that, which I think is great. I think that James Gunn has been pretty much no holds barred when it comes to talking about what he really is hoping people take away from this movie. And at its core, it is a movie about kindness, showing kindness to one another as human beings, which we all are at the end of the day. And Superman is not treated like that. He is treated as an outsider, and he is showcased in a way that we see so many people being like treated today. And I think what James Gunn has crafted here perfectly is such a film that is so sincere and earnest about the experiences that so many people that are disenfranchised face today, and Superman in this film is sort of brought down to that level. And I thought that that was brilliant the way Gunn presented that. There's a humanity that Gunn has to all of his films, from Guardians of the Galaxy and so on and so forth, that I think he really is able to showcase in such a spectacular way that feels so grand and epic, but at its core it is so rooted in our humanity and just really elevates this movie a lot more. The film is beautiful to look at as well. I think it's one of the first comic book movies in a while that feels like it's dazzling you with the vibrant images and colors it's presenting and the world that it's building, because this is a world building movie. Yes, it is a Superman movie, but it has the essences that I think Gunn wants to lay out, the sort of seeds for what's going to flourish into the DC universe in the next decade or two or so, however long they decide to do it. I think that there is a ton here that is going to really be beautiful to look at and just look back at it, at how that sort of came to be. There's so many Easter eggs and nods of what's to come, and that gets me even more excited. I felt an excitement watching this movie. It's been a while since a comic book movie gave me that feeling. I think I hadn't felt that feeling ever since I think Infinity War and Endgame. This sort of excitement and goosebumps you feel when you see the characters going at it, when they deliver these amazing monologue speeches, whatever you want to call them. It is there, and David Corenswet as Superman really does that so brilliantly and effortlessly. It honestly took me by surprise because I didn't know what to expect from this movie. I was kind of worried, I was excited, but it truly blew me away. I think Lex Luthor here, played by Nicholas Hoult, was one of the most like characters I was like a little bit distant from. I wasn't sure if Nicholas Hoult could pull it off or not, because I don't think I've really seen Nicholas Hoult really dive deep into such an evil and despicable, diabolical character as Lex Luthor. He does an amazing job here. The envy that Lex Luthor presents through his eyes in certain scenes towards Superman and anger and rage is just so amazing. And it's crazy to see Nicholas Hoult, who usually plays like much more, I would say, nicer characters and all of that, and then see him do a complete 180 into this very disturbed individual is just brilliant to see. And I'm excited to see more Lex Luthor in the future, and I think that people are going to be pleasantly surprised with his performance here. The romance aspect between Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane and Clark Kent is incredible. The chemistry is off the roof. I really love how they gave Lois so much to do as well in this film, because in the cartoons, which I grew up on, you really see Lois Lane always take the wheel and always try to do her best to really get out there and give a hand, you know, and she does that pretty well here as well. The investigative journalism as well that happens throughout this movie's midpoint as well was really fun to see, and I would definitely be open to a Daily Planet TV show where we just see the Daily Planet characters, because they were all interesting and fun to watch, and I would love to see more of that. Overall, I was kind of like not sure what to expect from James Gunn's Superman, because I think Superman and Guardians of the Galaxy are so distinct and so different, and yes, it does feel like there's some Guardians of the Galaxy sprinkled in here, but it also feels fresh and new that Gunn is going in a new direction and trying to give us these emotions and these feelings he wasn't maybe able to do in Guardians, because that's a whole different vibe, but he's able to do it here beautifully in Superman. I cried, I smiled, I laughed, I got goosebumps. I almost wanted to come off my seat at the end, but I was definitely loving this movie from beginning to end. Truly the blockbuster of the year. Like I said, you're not going to want to miss this. See it in the loudest, biggest screen possible. It is just amazing. That score, they put something in that score that just makes you feel like everything's going to be okay. And honestly, I wish we had a Superman in real life, but really love this movie. Check it out if you can. If you're a fan of Superman, if you're a fan of James Gunn, if you're a fan of comic books, if you're just a fan of a good old blockbuster that's really going to have you smiling when you leave that theater and just make you feel that much better about maybe there is hope in humanity, this one's it. But anyways, as always, that's going to do it for me. Follow me for more on things you love. Stay tuned for spoiler talk and what potentially could come next in this DC universe. That's going to be coming out later this week. I'll see all of you next time. As always, stay safe, stay positive.
Wrap it up.
Good luck with that.
Make a move, Big Blue.